Okay, so here's my example. The humorous hippopotamus. Okay? Now, depending on the kind of animal that you chose, you could have a different adjective, but it does have to start with the same letter. So, for example, the lazy lion, or the jumping jaguar, or the vicious viper, whatever. Okay? Lots of different, the vicious viper. Lots of different options there, but depending on the name of your animal, that will give you options for your adjective. Does that make sense? It has to be the same first letter. Your title slide also has your name on it, so by Miss Sorsling, or by Sophie Mason, or by Parker Dawkins, or by Hattie Papin, whatever it is. Okay? As well as pictures of your animal. Okay? That's your title slide. Hold on, let me get through all 7 and then I'll answer questions. Okay? Alright. Read section 2, please. Nicholas, nice and loud. Taxonomy.
A photograph of the animal and a scientific classification, including all 8 levels: domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. We will also need to list the scientific names of the animal in italics.
Very good, in italics. So, here's what it would look like. Hold on. Taxonomy, okay? Here's the title for my slide, taxonomy. For each animal, we've already talked about how every animal has a category for each of these levels, yes? They have a grouping for each of these levels of classification. It's very easy to find. Simple Google search will give you the classification for the animal, okay? So then you're going to just type that in. Domain, Eukaryote, kingdom, Animalia, phylum, Chordata, class, Mammalia, all the way down to species. Then you'll separately have a different section where you list the scientific name. This part has to be in italics, like we talked about in the notes, and the genus name has to be capitalized. I'll show you how to do italics and all of that in just a little bit, okay? And then, again, a picture of your animal. All right, read section 3. Nope, questions are at the end. Questions are at the end. Read section 3, please, Hannah, nice and loud. Very good. So, your habitat slide, okay? I have the title up here, habitat. Here's my 3-sentence paragraph. A hippopotamus is a semi-aquatic animal. A semi-aquatic animal spending most of its life in the water except for when it's eating. Wherever they live, there must be enough water for it to go completely underneath the surface. And there also must be grass nearby for it to eat. They can be found in both savanna and forest areas. Okay, so that's my 3 sentences describing the areas where they live. Yes? Now, here's my pictured map of the world. This is actually, it just so happens that when I Googled this, there was a map picture with it already like kind of sectioned off where hippos normally live. Okay? This is not what the map of Africa normally looks like, right? But it's highlighted in red and green for sections where there are lots of hippos typically. Okay? Now, you won't be able to find that for every single animal. If you cannot, just put a map of wherever they live. Okay? So, for example, if your animal's a penguin, they live in Antarctica or the North Pole or the Arctic Circle, just put a picture of the map of Antarctica. Okay? Just put a picture of the map of that area. Does that make sense? Okay. So every habitat slide, everyone's project that has a habitat section, has to have this 3-sentence description as well as a picture of the map of whatever area they live in. Okay? All right. Read section 4, please. Connor, nice and loud. Diet.
This section will discuss what the animal eats. It is a herbivore, plant eater. A carnivore is a meat eater or an omnivore, both plant eaters and meat eaters. How does it get its food?
When is it?
When is it most?
Okay. All right, look up here. Diet. Hippos are herbivores, meaning they eat mostly plants. So I answered that question. They mainly feed on grasses, as their teeth are mostly shaped for munching and grinding. Occasionally, they may also eat fallen fruits. If grasses are scarce, meaning there's not a lot of them in the area, they may also eat meat. They have to. They may walk up to 6 miles or 5 hours in a loop overnight just to devour the right kind of food. Okay, so I answered all the questions. Herbivores, when are they most active? What do they normally eat? I have the picture. I have the title, diet. Okay, that's the 4th section. All right, turn the page, go on to section 5. Just a question. Can I get to it at the end? You were going to read it? Okay, section 5, Ethan, fun facts.
This section will list at least 5 fun facts.
Good. You can have more than 5 if you want, but you need to have at least 5. So, fun fact. A hippo sleeping underwater rises and breathes without waking up. A hippo closes its nostrils when it submerges into the water. The name hippopotamus means river horse and is often shortened to just hippo. Remember the 3rd one. Although hippos might look a little chubby, they can easily outrun a human. 4th one, resting in water helps keep hippopotamus's temperature down. And 5th one, a male hippo is called a bull, a female hippo is called a calf or cow, and a baby hippo is called a calf. Like a cow. Mm-hmm.
I like that.
So those are my fun facts. Title, fun facts, at least 5 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a picture. Okay, Hannah. Good question. No, they are actually warm-blooded because they're mammals. I suppose so.
Oh, yeah.
All right, hold on to other questions. Hold on. We are going to have time for questions. Just hang on. Okay? Section 6, a day in the life. Bella, read that, please.
This section will contain a creative story interview of the animal. First, the student will use I and voice of the animal name. The story should include key information about the animal. Does it live in a nest, bowl, tree, etc.? Is it nocturnal? How does it get food? Let's see a complete day in raising the sheep. They may include be creative.
Okay. In this section, you're going to write a mini little itty bitty story that would be kind of like if you were that animal one day. Okay? So I didn't write the full thing, but I showed you kind of how to start. So for example, I rolled over underwater, unaware that I had even been asleep. I looked around and saw all the other hippos near me, because hippos live in packs. Soon the bull hippo, or the male hippo, will come by and lead us out to the grass for our morning meal. You see what I'm saying? Now, I made the story based on true facts about hippos. Hippos can sleep without even knowing it. Okay? They travel in packs, and they eat in packs, but the bull hippo actually does lead them out to go eat. You see what I'm saying? So you're going to kind of write this creative story about your animal from waking up to sleeping. Say so one full day. Now, if your animal is nocturnal, they would wake up at night and then obviously be awake through the night and go back to sleep in the morning. You would describe one full, quote unquote, day of their life. Okay? All right. The last slide is your reference. The last section is your references section. Okay? Any information that I use to, like, I didn't know all of this about hippos ahead of time. I had to look it up and learn it online. Yes? So any website that I use to get information from, I need to copy and paste into my references slide. Okay? This is just giving them credit for the information. All right? All right. And that's the end of it. It's 7 sections. Now, if you're doing a poster board, real quickly, flip to the second to last page. Okay? There's a picture of a poster. It says, "Can a goldfish do tricks?" Okay. This is kind of an example of what you would create if you do the poster board option. Now, it does not have to be a big trifold board like this. the ones that kind of fold in. They're a little more expensive, but if you want to do one of those, you can. It could just be one of those big post, like what you make signs out of, right? Like a big poster. Either way, I'll clip it to the board up here when you present it, or I'll put your trifold on the table or something. That way, it's in front when you're presenting. Okay. But if you do a board like this, notice how it has different sections. Yes. Okay. If you're going to do a board, each of your slides, quote unquote, that you would do on the computer presentation would be a paper on the board. So you have diet, you have habitat, you have fun facts, a day in the life, picture, whatever it is. Does that make sense? Okay. So you still have all the same information. It's just on the board. You can type it up and print it out like they did. If you can write neatly, you can put it on the board. The biggest thing is this. You need to think about this as if you're going to present it at a business meeting. Okay? So, not funky colors, not super bright patterns and tie-dye and glittery and stuff like that. Like you're going to a business meeting. Do you see how this looks kind of professional?
Yeah.
Okay, it's easy to read. It looks like they worked hard on it. It's good information. You could take this to a business meeting with your parents and present it, and it would be fine, right? Same thing applies to your computer if you're doing a slideshow project. Okay, go back to the packet real quick. Here, underneath section 7, it says project designs are up to the student. So you can design it however you want. Colors, patterns, there's all kinds of templates online, all kinds of stuff you can do. There needs to be a minimum of 1 picture per slide, except for your references page. Or if you're doing a poster, 1 picture for the whole poster, obviously. And only appropriate pictures may be used. The rule of thumb is as follows. When in doubt, leave it out. Okay? Now, the only thing that really we have to worry about here is don't put any crazy memes or anything on there with the animals. Okay? I've had that in the past. Also, gory pictures. Okay? A lot of these animals are predators. I'm not saying you can't include a picture of the animal hunting and eating something. But if it's excessively bloody and gory, don't use it. Okay? Now, obviously, some of it's just real life, and I get that. But if it's just if you look at it and you think, maybe I shouldn't show that in class, then don't. Okay? Now, I will spend some class time on how to create a Google Slides presentation, but not a lot of time. Okay? The good news is, if you use your student email, when we did the online schooling back at the beginning of the school year, you automatically have access to Google Slides. Okay? And I'll show you how to do that. It's very simple. All right? But I will show you a few things. I'll show you how to do italics. I'll show you how to copy and paste. I'll show you how to do a picture, things like that. But I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it. The other good news is this information is readily accessible on the internet. Okay? If you go to Google and type in how to create a Google Slides presentation, there are all kinds of how-to videos, helpful tips and tricks, etc. Okay? You can have an older sibling or a cousin or a guardian or a parent or a grandparent help you as long as they're not doing your whole project. Okay, look at me. This is important. I don't want that you coming home and saying, oh, hey, you got to do my project tonight. Hey, you got to do my classification project tonight. You can say, hey, will you sit down with me and show me how to do this? Does that make sense? I don't expect you to do this all on your own with no help, but I don't want this to be your mom or dad's project or your brother's project. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. Projects will be presented in class on the due date for a quiz grade. And then I have attached an example presentation. I forgot to do that, but I can print the slideshow out that I showed you. Let me know if you have any questions. Now, once you continue on in the packet, it gives you descriptions of how to do each type. Okay? This is instructions for how to do Google Slides. This is instructions for how to do a PowerPoint. Notice on here I included lots of different websites and attached videos. There's my email for you to send me the project when it's done. And then directions for a poster board. Okay, as well as the picture that I showed you. But what I want to show you is this last page. Animal classification project checklist. Turn to this page. Okay. This page is going to be very, very, very helpful for you. So do not lose it. Don't lose this packet at all, but especially not this page. Okay? Your animal choice, first we got to change that to the 19th. Once you've gone home and talked with your parents about what style of project is the best for your family, whether it's Google Slides, PowerPoint, or a poster board, you're going to circle one of those. Don't do it now. You talk to your parents first. There really is no due date for that. So just X that out. Then, the big one, projects and note cards completed and turned in. That one has to be turned in by, what did I say, 26?
Yeah.
26. 28?
Yeah.
28. Thank you. October 28th. Now, as you're completing your project, before you send it to me, use this page and go through all of these. Okay? So for section 1, do I have a title that also has capital letters? If so, check mark. Don't do it yet. You haven't created it yet. Do I have an adjective that starts with the same letter of my word? Happy hippopotamus. Amazing red ants. Yes, I do. Do I have by my name on the first slide? Yes, I do. Do I have a picture of the animal? Yes, I do. If you go through this list and realize, oh no, I don't have that, put it in. Then give yourself a check mark. I very nicely made a detailed list for each section. Okay? This page is going to be very, very helpful for you. All right. Briefly, let me talk about the note cards. The note cards. Okay? Here's the point of the note cards. A, it's a nice little easy boost for your grade. Okay? It's a good, easy 10 points or whatever it is. But secondly, you're supposed to use these when you present your project. Okay? So let me give you an example. Let's go back to my project for a second. Alright. So, if I have my note cards, ideally, each of my note cards will be one slide. So I'll have my title note card, The Humorous Hippopotamus by Miss Dorsland. Instead of being in front of the class and having to turn around and say, The Humorous Hippopotamus by Miss Dorsland. Why would I be talking to the board? I'm presenting to you. Yes? Okay, but this is also uncomfortable. So, instead, I have my information here to read off what I'm showing here. So I do like this. The Humorous Hippopotamus by Miss Dorsland. Next. Classification. Domain. Eukaryote. Kingdom. Animalia. Phylum. Chordata. Class. Mammalia. Do you see how I'm doing it this way? Because I have the information here as opposed to having to turn around this way. Does that make sense? Now, everything on your slide has to be on your note card. Does that make sense? Otherwise, I'm not presenting that information to you. So, for example, if I go through the whole classification and I get to genus Hippopotamus, species Amphibius, and then I click, what did I forget to read to you? Patty? The scientific name. You see what I'm saying? So your note card should be an exact picture or replica of what you have up here. Then when you're done presenting, you'll say, you'll go through all of these, and you'll say, a day in the life, blah, blah, blah. And these are my references. Thank you. And then everyone will clap. You'll come over and give me your note cards and go sit down. Does that make sense? Online kids, you'll present them a little differently, but you'll still have the same requirements for your project. Okay? Bella. Good question. PowerPoint and Google Slides, it's the exact same thing, but Google Slides is like Google's version of that. PowerPoint is Microsoft's version of that. Now, the difference is this. If your parents already have the Microsoft program on their computer, you can use the PowerPoint version. Google Slides is free. and you already have access to it through your student email, your responsive ed email. Okay, which I will show you how to do that, not today, but a different day. Okay, Hannah. Why? Because if you don't, it's considered like you're copying someone else's work and calling it your own. Correct. Which is it's really a practice that I'm instilling in you for when you get into upper grades and are writing papers. If you don't give an author credit for where you've got the information, it's considered plagiarism, which is cheating. So I'm just starting this here to kind of help train you in that way. Sophie?
When you put your email there, we actually don't really need it because on the
Yes, because your student. Well, in the past, our students didn't really know how to use their student email yet, but with the online learning, that kind of helped us out. It'll be a little easier now. Parker?
One, if I'm able to find a could I take pictures of my gecko?
So if the leopard gecko is at the Fort Worth Zoo and you're the first one to come to me and ask for it, then yes, you could include your pictures of your actual leopard gecko. Yes.
And then also, do we have to send you a slide or something for a student account that can we use?
If you have a personal Gmail, you can use that too. Either one's fine. You don't have to use your student account. It's just, the benefit is some people don't have one outside of that. Ethan?
Okay, with the poster board and the cards.
Great question. No, even if you do a poster or a poster board, you still need to have your note cards separate because the poster board will still be hanging here. And instead of having to turn and read off the poster board, you can read off the note cards. Say that again?
So with the poster board, is it just like a picture of your
Yeah, so if you do the poster board, you don't need to have pictures for every section, just one bigger picture. Just at least one picture in your poster board. Okay? Nicholas?
So I have two things.
Mhm.
Say, like you say, so would this be allowed? This won't be like my animal or something. I know there won't. I know it won't be there. So,
Okay.
So, can I say a flock of hungry geese? Would I be able to say that?
A flock of hungry geese?
Yeah.
No, if your animal was goose, you would have to do like the gracious goose or the generous goose or something like that.
Would I be able to say an awful lot of ocelot?
The what ocelot?
An awful lot of ocelot?
An awful lot of ocelot. That's cute. No, because ocelot starts with an O and awful starts with an A. You could do like the
The awkward ocelot.
no, it's an A too. Outstanding ocelot.
Yeah.
It has to start with the same letter because that's the rule. Shh. There's something I was going to say about poster board though.
And also,
Oh, the Google Slides and PowerPoint really is easier, but I give the PowerPoint option or the poster board option because a lot of families either don't have a computer or internet's kind of spotty or something. So if that's better for the family, I want them to do that. But the Google Slides really is a little bit easier.
will I be able to bring a cat laser?
No.
Later.
To be able to like
No, I'll have a pointer you can use in the
I
presentation.
think the COVID, be able to bring my own.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, either we'll disinfect it in between students or I'll cook it for you. Bella?
So obviously, if you have a poster board, you can like bring it up and like